Hey there, my name is Stephanie Fleming. I am a full-time artist under the name Stephanie Brown. My YouTube channel, Stephanie Squared, is where I get to show up as my whole self. I share aspects of my personal and professional life as I build a sustainable creative career doing what I love with whom I love. Trigger warning, this video does include information about infant loss, miscarriage, and car accident footage. This is the story of how our first family car went from this to this. It's also part of the story of how manifestation became integral to who I am and how I move in the world. I realized that the way I write, speak, and move have shifted drastically, and I never fully explained why and how. I think that deserves its own separate video or article. So for now, I'll just share the Cliff Notes version and encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to learn more. My son is my testimony. My son is my proof. My son is our literal receipt. Let me take you back to May 2023. I was depressed. I was also at an art residency right outside of Naples, Italy. I was mourning the 1-year anniversary of my miscarriage on Mother's Day. And then I came across this quote, "A year from now, you may wish you had started today." Karen Lamb. During that summer, I started journaling more about my conception journey. I started documenting it more. And I also created the website, design, and plan for my first podcast. August 2023. Fast forward to a magical Black women only spiritual retreat in the North Georgia mountains and prayers in the river that changed my life for the better. I left there lighter and with conviction and clarity in my spirit. I knew I would be pregnant in 3 months. So much so that I put it on my wall and came home ready to transform our home in preparation for the return of our baby. Emphasis on the word return. I was pregnant 25 days after leaving the retreat. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'll save the rest of that story for those who want to know more. The moral of that story is my entire pregnancy, I felt like I unlocked the keys to what God has in store for me when I fully submit. I celebrated each month with more and more confidence. His beautiful and safe arrival at home sealed the deal for me. The manifestation of my son became a methodology that I started to apply to other aspects of my life. Cue dreamy. As the 3rd trimester approached, it became clear to my husband Phil and I that a second car would be mandatory, with him working so far from home and foreseeing our future with a baby and all their needs and destinations. So we went on the hunt for our first family vehicle. Of course, I had safety top of mind. This was going to be our child's chariot. And well, chariots with top safety ratings were dollar amounts that made us uncomfortable. We went to dealerships and test drove so many cars. I definitely had imposter syndrome walking into places like Audi. Once I narrowed it down to what I wanted, I then began the hunt to find it, or something close, for a lower price. We wanted to take advantage of end of the year pricing. This was December. Then, what seemed to be out of the blue was a listing in Hilton Head, South Carolina that had everything and more on our wish list. Within 2 days of finding it, she was ours, and we took a road trip with our dog to pick her up 3 days before Christmas. 2023 Jord Blue XC40 Plus Pure Electric. Our Dreamy. I named her Dreamy because she was the car of my dreams. She was a symbol of the luxury and fortune that I know we deserve. She was one of the safest things I knew I could confidently transport our baby in. She was a marker of what was always ours once we believed we could claim it. There was no more room for imposter syndrome. This was our reality, and I loved it here. On October 5th, the night of my birthday, we as a family were headed to the airport to drop off my 2 best friends who came in town to surprise me for my birthday. A large pickup truck hauling a full-size RV suddenly made a 90-degree turn into our lane. I tried to brake. I tried to get out of the way, but we were ultimately hit by the RV it was hauling. All airbags deployed upon impact and threw us into the median on the left and halted the vehicle. It's strange to say, I know, but even though this was the worst accident of my life, I never felt safer. The moment we were hit, it felt like I was in slow motion. I couldn't believe this was happening. I felt like I was watching myself encounter everything from outside my body. The airbags covered all the glass in the car, so I couldn't see anything but soft, diffused light. It was like I was in a softbox, which is a lighting modifier in photography. I couldn't even hear any noise outside. As we slid slid, I reached out my right hand to ring my bells that hung from the rearview mirror, asking God, my ancestors, and the Orisha to be with us. When the car stopped, it started to smoke, and Dreamy had already called 911 automatically without me needing to initiate anything. I started yelling at everyone to try their doors and get out. I kicked my door open, and 3 people were already outside ready to help us. I ran around the back asking for my son, and some random man passed him to me. It all happened so fast. Yes, this accident was traumatic. Yes, it was a horrible thing to happen on my birthday, and we get to say we walked away. I get to write and to share with you today. Yes, it was a whirlwind of a storm, and yet I landed on my feet. Praise be to God. I'm grateful that we had no major injuries or hospitalizations. We are hurt and healing one day at a time from our soft tissue injuries and our bodies, as well as our hearts and minds. I thank our sweet, sweet girl Dreamy for keeping us safe, for evolving our self-esteem, and supporting us on road trips and every family outing. Wherever my son went, Dreamy was the one to take him there. We thank you for your service, Dreamy. This is where traumatic experiences can generate brand loyalty. Our son is in perfect health. His infant car seat absorbed all of the shock from the accident. The car seat impact arm literally broke off in the accident and left him with 0 injuries. Thank you, Uppababy, for making such an incredible car seat. And thank you to my Ori, which is Yoruba for inner wisdom, for guiding us on what to purchase when doing our initial research. I am 1000% getting another Volvo and wouldn't have it any other way. I'm grateful to my Ori for guiding me to Volvo as a brand, and ultimately this vehicle that helped keep my family and friends so safe. I knew nothing about Volvo prior to my search for a family vehicle. Since becoming a Volvo owner, I've become a huge fan and love that they have a vehicle for us now and even when our family grows. We are going to be a generational Volvo family. It's all connected. I know now that my 2023 summer in Italy was God encouraging me to document my life more closely so I could be prepared for sharing my story more effectively. More than my story, this is my testimony, my lessons learned. My prayer is that God continues to use my life as a testimony to what is possible. I have so much to share. This is just the beginning. I know now that what I learned to do at that retreat has continued to challenge me in every season I find myself in since. Manifesting of our son, our car, our home, and career. I can't go back, and I would not change a thing. I think it's important to candidly know that this is really hard work, that my nervous system has been put through the ringer, that I have days and moments where I wonder if I have any more left in me. And then I look at my son, my Nazir, my protector, the one who brings us victory. I am reminded that when I see him, that if we can do that, we can do anything. What is manifesting money or a career in comparison to manifesting life itself? Celebrating the small steps. For those that have already been following my journey to establishing my full-time career as an artist, please make note of the calendar. It's the end of October. My savings was only supposed to last us 3 months after my job ended on June 30th. Yet, here I am on month 4. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't have it all figured out. What I do know is that things are happening in small incremental waves that are allowing me to still fight and pursue the life I have and the career goals I aspire to. Living month to month is nerve-wracking, and yet I'm grateful for another day to do what I love and fight to maintain the access to keep doing it and prioritizing it. I'm not on a journey to being a full-time artist anymore. I am a full-time artist who is fighting to stay that way. If anything, now I'm on the journey to making it sustainable and everlasting. I invite you to join me on my journey by subscribing. Peace and love, Stephanie Squared.